What was the secret with which Father Gerard won the hearts of the people? One day he wrote, "Oh my God, will it be possible to be indifferent and not to work with all my strength to prevent one single sin? It is necessary to be ardent to prevent sin, to pursue it in the poor souls who give it lodging. There is a secret to be loved. It is to love. Also for the Basotto, the Matabele, even the heathens, in seeing them, we can ask ourselves what to do to convert them. The answer is on every page of the Gospel. We must love them. Love them despite everything. Love them always." The apostles' eagerness to show the natives the real importance of their sins, which costed so much suffering of Christ, prompted him to introduce the custom of public penance from the beginning of the mission. The scandalously behaving Mosoto was asked to dress in a mortuary robe and to remain so in the church throughout the ceremony, to show everyone that he has died to grace through his guilt. Sometimes a sinner was also seen standing several Sundays in a row outside the church door, where he had to stay part of the day as a black sheep to avoid. One day, Father Gerard even came to assume part of the expiation of a public scandal. Thus, after gathering all the men in front of the church, he immediately fell at the feet of the crowd and told them to go out the door, passing over him. No one dared to go on. After rising, the apostle insisted on the malice of sin with such insistence that the Basotto, driven by this act of heroism, finally decided to pass over his body. From this day on, the Basotto could only see in him their beloved father. In 1876, he went to Pietermaritzburg to direct the printing of two works in Sesotho, the language of Basotho, which he had composed himself, a translation of the Gospel of Luke, and a brief history of the Church. He then returned to find a new position in northern Lesotho, in Leribe. He dedicated this new mission to Saint Monica, one of the saints for whom he had a particular devotion. He remained there for 21 years, fully absorbed, as before, in the tasks of catechesis, liturgy, and pastoral ministry. The zeal for souls totally captivated him. At St. Monica, he once again had to face the usual difficulties: pagan rites, polygamy, witchcraft, misunderstandings, and false interpretations of what he did. He also had to face criticism from some of his oblate confreres for his activities. How to overcome these difficulties? His response was to have a strong prayer life. After a long day on horseback visiting huts, he spent his nights praying in the chapel. "Sleep is the enemy of man," he often repeated. Under the flickering flame of a candle, he mused the Psalms with all his soul and said his prayers. In 1897, at the age of 66, he returned to Rome, the first mission, where he spent the next 17 years as if he were still the young missionary who had arrived there 35 years ago. At the age of 83, he still rode his famous horse, Artaban. He was the first to try to carry out the life program that he left us writing. I imagine a priest, a missionary oblate of Mary Immaculate in a mission. He wants to see everything with his eyes, know with his heart, give joy to everybody by his presence, be all things to all people to win them over to Christ Jesus. His inventive charity knows how to use everything, plan everything. He is not satisfied by these general relationships where the priest is the priest of everybody, but enough the priest of each and every one. This priest will take the occasion to give individually to his people private and direct marks of his dedication in such a way that each one would believe that he or she is loved uniquely by him. In March 1914, he wrote to his sisters and brothers that Fortunately, he was still able to travel an hour or two a day to visit the sick, although he regretted not being able to do more. In April, he celebrated the 60th anniversary of his priestly ordination. At the end of this month, he became very ill and had to stay in bed. During one of the many visits he received while he was ill, Father Gerard had a prophetic inspiration which paved the way for many conversions among the Basotho. Divine mercy is infinite, he murmurs. It would not be content with such a small number of conversions in Basutoland. And he added, so many sweats and tears of the pioneers of the faith in Basutoland cannot but make the harvest more fruitful. On Friday, May 29, around 9 in the morning, Father Gerard, fully aware of his actions, made a wide sign of the cross, like the one he always did when riding his horse, and gave his soul to the invitation of the Lord. On his deathbed, he had comforted his flock, saying, do not think that I am going to heaven to rest. I will work for you, Basotho. Today, the local people continue to go to his tomb. There they collect handfuls of dirt and take it home. Father Gerard had written, there is a secret to be loved. It is to love. Do not think that I'm going to heaven to rest. I will work for you. Blessed Joseph Gerard reminds us.